Y'all saw all those stairs? Yeah. A wee bit out of breath. I gotta up it on the cardio. Okay, let me make sure you can see me. This is my love note to you before you head out today. This is that surprise sticky note in your lunchbox. I really want Black women to take the sabbatical. Yes, Black women, I need you to take the sabbatical. And we don't hear that statement often. We don't hear people often encouraging us to care for ourselves. We hear people telling us to push through, to keep going, to do more. You're doing great. Oh my God, you're so strong. And sometimes that comment does not feel like a badge of honor, because you may look strong on the outside, but you could be either breaking, depleting, or slightly crashing out on the inside. So we got to be careful with that one. But I want you to take the sabbatical in the sense of, you most likely have time that's owed to you that you forgot about or you have never utilized. I touched on this for a minute in my last video. I didn't want to go all off the mulberry bush to get to this point, but I said, let me prioritize this conversation while I am here, taking a couple days for a different life celebration. The first time I realized I had this available to me, it felt like my hand was forced into it, which was sad to say, but the best decision, the best permission slip I did not know that I needed. So it was 2020. I had just moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, a few months before the pandemic occurred, and I reached a great level of burnout. Now, my move was impromptu. I was ready. I felt like I had, gave myself a couple years to heal after my son passed away, because I had moved back home to Michigan at the time when I was living in Georgia during his stillbirth. And if you don't know that story, I do share his story very intimately. Since his birthday is coming up, February 12th, he would have been 9. And once I was ready and I felt like God opened the door for me, I had this job promotion. I was a manager for Warby Parker at the time, my retail stint. Okay, we talked about that. This promotion was top tier. I was so excited about it. And for some reason, I felt like God kept putting North Carolina in my spirit. I had never been to North Carolina a day past Tuesday. And I just kept feeling it in my spirit. And I started looking it up. I was looking at YouTube videos. When you see something you want or something keeps coming up and you're like, maybe that is for me. So you start visualizing to put yourself in the place and in the atmosphere. I started looking at YouTube videos of people that would drive around the city. And I was like, okay, this looks really interesting. I asked a few people that I knew had lived there before, how was it? I didn't spend too much time trying to get opinions from other people because I didn't need it. I just knew that that's where God was taking me. So long story short there, I said yes to the promotion. Packed up and then headed out to North Carolina. And just a few months later, probably 4 or 5 months later, the pandemic really occurred and opened up wide open. And between being out of state, being at a job where it required more of me at the time in the sense of what I stepped into with this particular role, it was I'm just going to say it. The leadership was damaged, and it was a lot of repair that needed to happen because distrust occurred, and it was just a lot of moving parts going on there. But all that to say, it just required more of me. So I'm in this new place and obviously taking on this new role, taking on being developed as a different type of leader myself. And then just to the extent of running the show. And I tell you, I ended up, maybe a year later, after going through all of that and opening back up to the public, little by little, right? Because I feel like not many people knew what they were doing. I don't like to be the blind following the blind, but sometimes you are in that boat. And it felt like that's how it was when we started, quote unquote, opening back up. The protocols were just very interesting. Some things just didn't make sense. And I just didn't like being exposed at the time to being in front of so many faces. It all just started to catch up with me, and the level of burnout that I hit, I couldn't even tell you guys. I had exhausted all of my PTO time that I had available. Actually, it exhausted you during COVID. That was crazy that we didn't actually have PTO COVID time. I didn't catch COVID, but someone close to me at the time did catch it. And so I had quarantined with them, which took up my PTO time. And I'm like, y'all don't have like a separate bucket for this? This is insane. This wasn't optional. Like I didn't press, yeah, sign me up. No. So I was running out of options. I was running out of fume. I was running on empty. I was frustrated. I started to feel like the wave of the depression come in with my son's passing. It was pretty fresh in a sense. It was 3 years at the time. And it all hit me at once, y'all. And I said, what do I have to do? Because I can't afford to leave this job. I'm out here. I have to be making an income. I have this apartment to pay for. I have to live. But I need to figure out something. And when I started doing my company research, that's when I realized, girl, you got FMLA and short-term disability leave? I never knew it. Never in all my years of working. Y'all, this was just 6 years ago. In all my years of working, all my time, I never knew that was an option for me. You know, it seems like it was more, I just don't know. Black people didn't get the memo. I don't know if we just didn't read all of the packets HR sent us, but I then grew to realize commonly more of a privileged white woman or person would take and use their PTO, or not their PTO, their short-term disability and their FMA leave. Very commonly. It's like they knew all their rights or something, and maybe it bypassed us, honey. I dug deep. I talked to HR. I said, what are my options? I drove to Atlanta at the time because that's where my most recent doctor was. And I drove back home to North Carolina. I spoke with my therapist and I got my letters. I got everything that I needed. I used my short-term disability with my FMLA time. I want to say I took 12 weeks off. And when it was time and I flew back home to Michigan, I spent time with my parents. I spent time with myself. I was in Atlanta. When it was time and all said and done, I drove back to the job the day before I was supposed to come back from that leave, turned in my laptop, turned in my notice, and I quit. And that was the last time I worked in retail like that. And when I tell you, I could not believe how much I was able to, that deep sigh, just breathe and sort through my stuff and I just needed a minute. I just needed time to not have to try to figure it all out. Sometimes we just need to just be. We take in so much on a daily, weekly basis. We take in our stuff. We take in other people's stuff. We take in a lot of trauma. We take in a lot of energy and personalities on these jobs. We got cousins dealing with stuff, and then, nieces and nephews dealing with stuff. We consume a lot. There's a lot always happening. It never ever stops. But we got to realize the right that we have to that minute that we need. Some of y'all have been at this job for 1, 3, 5, honey, 6, 7, 8 years and never used your short-term disability that you've been paying into. You never took the FMLA to secure your job so you can come back. You are owed a minute. You are owed a minute. Now, I don't know, everybody's circumstances are greatly different, right? Like, y'all know I've been working this role that I accepted as a contractor that just isn't, the container of the job isn't a good fit for me. So it just hasn't been the best for my personal mental health, and I'm aware of it, but I haven't been there long enough where I have like these bells and whistles that I can flex and utilize, and I'm not trying to be there long enough to actually even obtain those bells and whistles. I don't really care in the most respectful way because it's not working for me. I'm aware of it, right? So I got to shift my energy and put my energy somewhere else to what is going to have that with a transition, what's going to have what I need with a transition. But for those of you that have put in this time and work at your job, maybe you're trying to plan your dream life. Maybe you're trying to get to the spot that funds your dreams. Maybe you've been working on your exit plan, right? We've been talking about that a lot. You've been working on your exit plan, and maybe this is the piece. Maybe this is one of those pieces. Have you looked at your short-term disability? Did you opt into it? Did you pay into that? Have you considered the FMLA leave, even if it's to that point? And was it pendant can swing either way. That's not the right word, but you all know what I'm saying. You may either be in like, okay, FMLA leave unpaid, but my job is secured. I'm going to take these weeks. I want to say it's 12 weeks. If I'm wrong, correct me. Correct me in the comments. It's been some years. Or it can swing the other way where it's like, okay, I do actually have these things. Let me take this time. That 12 weeks could be the change that you need. That 12 weeks could be the start that you need. It could be the minute that you need. It could be the break. I'm here to remind you that that may be an option for you. And I need you to consider that option. I need you to look at what you got going on to see, hey, is this something that I can do? Is this something that I'm ready to do, that I want to do? Because I legitimately need a minute. We've been talking about just taking a step back, but a step at a time. To assess what your needs are and be honest and be realistic about what your needs are. So that year when I did that, I was like, yes, I am fully aware. I wish I would have used it at my last job. I honestly wasn't thinking, and I don't know why I wasn't. Oh, you know why? I think because we more so had unlimited PTO, and because I could take my laptop with me, I felt like I had more manage of the job. That stress level wasn't like this, greatly different. So I felt like because I could travel and move around a little bit more, it wasn't something that I like needed to take because I had a good handle on creating my thing on the side and then working and things like that too. But it is available, and it's something that I wish I would have taken on my last job. But we as Black women, there's so many things that I want us to do, honey. I feel like I could just make this long, grandiose list to nurture yourself, to take the sabbatical, book the trip, book the hotel room for a weekend, change the job, leave the relationship if you have to, find yourself, say no, set more boundaries. These all apply in so many different ways, depending on who you are and where you're at and what's going on and how you, but they all lead back to how you trust yourself, how you love and care for yourself, how you protect yourself. One of my biggest strides this year is I was praying to the Lord. I want to be a graceful woman. I want to be one of those women, because I guess I think I'm hitting auntie status. The girl said it's like the late 30s. I want to be one of those women where you see me and you're just like, wow, she's like eloquent. She's graceful. She has this peace about her. I feel it. And it draws people in. I want to be like that subtle tone, not reactive. I want to be that, like, it's not about soft spokenness, but it's like I don't have to go outside of myself, if you know what I mean. I've been praying to the Lord to, like, just continue to mold me into that woman. It has been a journey, and I've come a long ways too, transparently, and that's just an aura. That is just like an energy that I really like. I'm drawn to when I see it in women that are older than me and more mature than me. And I'm like, I want to carry that as well, because that is a different type of level of internal peace. It's a different type of level of care. It's a different type of settled comfort and trust in the Lord. It just says so much without saying anything. And this trip, being in Tulum, it hasn't been this like grandiose discovery for me. I think it's just really been like time to rest and realize that the direction and the path that I'm going on is right. It's been moments where I can just sit back. I'm not, I'm here. That's kind of what it's been. And I needed that. So I'm just really resting in that. And today we have massages coming to, I keep calling this a villa. It's, I guess, just a really nice house. Like, maybe I'll give you guys a tour. Maybe see the tour for the membership. But we have massages coming. We have, I think the chef comes tonight too. Girl, I gotta look at that itinerary. It's just going to be a relaxing day of just healing and subtleness and just being. We do so much all the time that this can feel like guilt to a lot of people. This can feel like, man, I should be doing this, or I shouldn't have done this. This can feel, the rest, the slowness, it can feel like a battle too, because if you haven't been teaching yourself how to slow down, literally all the roads, all the signs that I've talked about lead back to caring for yourself. Caring for yourself comes with the cost. You just have to decide how much you're willing to spend, because it's going to cost you regardless. It's going to cost you your time. It's going to cost you your anxiety. It's going to cost you your peace of mind or lack of. It's going to cost heart palpitations. It's going to cost a frazzled nervous system. It can also cost a calm nervous system. It could cost you weight gain. It could be weight loss. It can cost lack of longevity. It could increase the longevity. It can cost you quality of life. It could cost a chaotic environment. It can cost an environment of tranquility. It can cost the doctor's appointment. It can cost the treatments and medication. It can cost nature's medication. It can cost you time to just sit here and be still and let your mind wander and visualize. Or you can spend it doing something because you think doing something is more important than resting your mind and slowing down. It will cost you direction. It can cost you clarity both ways. It could cost you elevation. It could cost you stagnation. It's going to cost you regardless. You just get to decide what cost you really want to pay and how much are you willing to pay it. And it can also cost you taking the sabbatical and using the FMLA or short-term disability time that you have. It could cost you cashing that in for your permission slip to just take a minute. It can cost you a slow morning with a cup of instant coffee in Mexico. It could cost you whatever you choose to pay. But I hope that you really consider my words. I hope that you really consider the slowness. I hope that you really consider trusting yourself enough to know what you need. That's really what this kind of all comes down to. So, very active sound of dogs. Okay, y'all. This video was nice. Until the next video, if you're new here, welcome to the family. I am Renee. I create daily videos around choosing yourself, giving yourself permission to come home to yourself, being self-loyal, because we're not selfish and we do not self-abandon anymore. I would love to have you hit like, comment, subscribe, introduce yourself in the comments. And if you've been here for a minute with the family, let me know, what cost are you going to pay? I want to know. Meet me in the comments with that one. And until the next video, my friends, I will talk to you later. Bye.